got admission to all the schools. Uh, can you share any challenges or obstacles you faced during the application process?
Yeah. So I think choosing schools was not easy because um, how do I put it? So I actually started applying for spring semester. So one challenge was that there's not a lot of funding for spring semester. So that was one
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Then it was choosing between schools because these are all very good schools, and some of them they're located in cities that I really wanted to be in, like Colombia. I really love New York, and I wanted to be
Yeah.
in New York, but New York is really expensive, and the funding I got from Colombia was not a lot. So I had to make choices
Mm-hmm.
between schools, like which one ultimately will take me to the career that I want, and also
Yeah.
makes the duration of the program smooth because you don't only want to choose a school that looks good on paper, like you actually want to enjoy the time that you're going to spend there. You don't want extreme challenge. You don't want to go to a very expensive city and have a miserable 2 or 1 year time. So I also I think I had to make choices, and then I really wanted to stay close to the Ethiopian community, and so and also where my relatives and my family lives. So the
Mm-hmm.
DMV really made sense to me. So these are like some of the things I had to think through between choosing schools. I wouldn't really call it a challenge, but it took me a while to be like, okay, which one has good funding, but still will give me a good outcome after graduation and things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think well that is equally a good criteria. I know people funding is usually a critical component. Location. So to you, it seems like location was a good criteria for you to kind of decide on which school to pick, and then obviously like the quality of the program, it's also was also part of the process. So eventually you decided to come to Hopkins. um uh so and I'm glad that like Hopkins too has a lot of diversity in terms of the student population. And we've beginning to see a lot of students from Ethiopia, which is like really cool. So yeah, I think, I mean, your academic journey is interesting, and it lays down a very solid foundation for people who, for example, don't know what to do to kind of start. So for someone who's trying to apply to schools of public health, what is the first step that you would perhaps advise them to do?
Yeah. I think doing a very good research is important before just like haphazardly starting a statement of purpose or just like going to SOFAS and applying. Really sit down and make a research. I think watch YouTube channels like yours that are very good. People these days, I love that they love to share and they love to help out, so that makes it much easier. So watch YouTube channels, make your research, read, talk to students first, and then understand, okay, what is the process, so that you can make a timeline, because I've seen people who didn't have an idea of a timeline, so they would start the SOFAS application really late, and then they would have their IELTS on time or their recommender would be on time, so things like that. So
Yeah.
really understand the timeline. When is my deadline? So but if my deadline is December, so when should I start approaching recommenders? When should I finalize my statement of purpose? Things like this. Actually have like a written or like a Word document and write down this timeline, so that makes it easier for you, so you don't wake up one day and realize you're really behind or something. So yeah, have a timeline, research, and then I think we really need to be disciplined. Applying for grad school is kind of like a full-time job. It really needs commitment
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
discipline, because a lot of people from all over the world who are really good at are also applying to the same schools
Yeah.
for the same funding that you're
Hmm.
applying. So if you don't have commitment and if you don't have discipline, it can take you a couple of years to actually get admitted, and it can take more time. So I think you need to decide, okay, this is the amount of energy and time I'm going to spend, and you kind of need to visualize yourself achieving that, so that it's easier for you to work on it. Besides that, I think really talk with people who've gone to grad school. I know most grad school students are busy, but most of them that I know are very happy to help. So have brief phone call conversations, or like write to them and understand and get your statement of purpose reviewed, your resume reviewed. Ask for help. You don't have to do it all by yourself. I mean, if you're extremely good and if you're very independent, good for you. But I don't think that's a good idea. It's easier to seek out help, because, like, for me, it really helped me having to talk to people who already were in Hopkins, who, especially people from your country, like for me, Ethiopians really helped me. So because they understand the culture and then they can communicate with you easier. So this would be my short version of my advices.
Yeah, I mean that is very crucial. You've highlighted a very critical aspect: doing your research, right? So doing your research, know the timeline, know the program requirement, know the things you have to do. Reach out to people, being organized. So someone reached out to me last week that he wants to apply to School of Public Health, and it's like 2 weeks to deadline. So how are you going to apply? I say, oh, he has already sent a message that he should submit his recommendation. And I said, so how are they going to do it? Have you heard of SOFAS? He said, no. Have you heard of West Evaluation? He said, no. And I said, no, then you're not ready to apply this year, right? So if you haven't done any research at all, and you reach out to people that you want to apply to School of Public Health, that is not how it's done. You have to invest your time and do the research. So thank you very much for this advice.
Yeah, you're welcome.